Hello, so where should you visit when you go to Australia? Well, I recently did my road trip down there and there were 8 places that absolutely surprised me and I recommend stopping by. My name is Zoe, I'm from the UK and I recently did a road trip of Australia from Perth up to Darwin, all the way down to Adelaide and then back to Perth. So I guess you'd call it a half lap. Had an amazing experience. Did it in 2 months, a bit too quick, but still it was amazing. But there were 8 places that I went to which were so surprising and for different reasons and that I was not expecting. So the first one was Kununurra. Kununurra, what a beautiful town it is. We only stayed there one night and I went to Kununurra because I wanted to see the Ivanhoe crossing and also to go to the kangaroo haven and cuddle a little baby Jerry and feed them. It was such a cool experience. But what surprised me the most was just how beautiful Kununurra is. You've got Lake Kununurra and you've got different places you can go and visit. So there's a place where you can go fishing and just chill out, and then you've got the bit where they have the houseboats and they've got all the trees growing from the water. It's such a stunning scenery. Great parks in the area. The town is absolutely delightful. I was just so surprised by how beautiful this town would be. I wish I'd stayed there longer, and if I went back I'd definitely spend a lot more time here. I loved it there. Just wasn't expecting that. My second surprise was the town of Tom Price. So you go through Tom Price if you're kind of driving towards Karijini National Park. And I expected it to be a really small town with just a petrol station. But actually it's a really big town. It's got all the facilities that you need. It's got supermarkets and shops and restaurants. But it had this beautiful wide open spaces and green spaces. And actually, a lot of Australia is like this, and the parks that they provide free to the public and the residents is just absolutely amazing. They've so got it right. I was just so surprised by Tom Price. And I thought, oh, I wish we would just sort of stay in here so I could really explore it more. But we were just driving through. So we only stopped for lunch and fuel. But it was just such a beautiful little town. And it had lots of places you could go and look at the mining that they did. Yeah. I wish I'd made a day to spend here and go and explore a bit more. Beautiful place. The next place that really surprised me was Coober Pedy. Oh my days. I knew it was an opal mining town and it was going to be a little bit quirky, but I hadn't really appreciated how big the town is. And also, I mean, it looks big when you're driving around, but then when you hear that 75% of the population live underground in these underground houses, you think, wow, this is bigger than it looks. But it's got so much to do there. You can go to mine tours, you can go and look around these houses that have been built underground. I went to Faye's underground house. It was absolutely stunning. And I was blown away by how big these houses are that are underground. And they're so cool, they keep the same temperature every year. It's a really interesting town with great history. And we learned about how you can still actually get a plot of land for mining. The lady at Faye's house explained it all to me. It sounded all very complicated, but in theory you can. Very isolated town. Yeah, you could spend a lot longer there than we did. It just was so much more than I was expecting. It really did surprise me. I absolutely loved it there. My next one was Alice Springs. Now, I've heard, from people, and people put videos out about how unsafe Alice Springs is, and you go there and you have a little bit of trepidation. But I actually thought Alice Springs is really nice. I walked around the town, I didn't feel unsafe at all. Got everything that you need there. It's got lovely park spaces. It's got everything that you would need, like at Woolworths and Coles and lots of restaurants. It's a really nice town. Of course, you can go up to Anzac Hill and you get a great view across it all. I found the people very welcoming and very friendly there. I mean, it was just lovely. Now, I wasn't, I didn't go out in the evening, and I did hear some noises when we were in our campsite in the night, but I don't think you should avoid Alice Springs. And I know, like, when we met people travelling, they were saying, oh, well, no, we wouldn't stop there. It's a lovely town, really surprised me. And, you know, if you're going to put up negatives about it, you know, please put up some positives as well, because it's a nice place to visit. Esperance. Now, we all know that Esperance is famous for Lucky Bay Beach, the best beach in the world, as it's been voted. We have kangaroos on the beach. But it wasn't actually Lucky Bay. I mean, Lucky Bay is beautiful, don't get me wrong. But the whole park has so many beautiful bays. I loved Hellfire Bay. I wasn't expecting to find that. It was just so stunning. And although I've seen pictures of Lucky Bay and Hellfire Bay, and I've seen the white sand and the aqua blue sea in photos, when you see it in person, it just blows you away. You will have never seen sea that colour against such white sand. I absolutely was blown away by it. Beautiful. It's a definite stop. Now, the next place that surprised me was 80 Mile Beach. So when we were driving from Karajini towards Broome, it was a really long drive, so we needed to break it up. And so we picked the campsite 80 Mile Beach. And I thought it would just be like your regular commercial campsite, but it's not. It's a really nice place to stay. We had plenty of space. We were given a spot up by the dunes, and we just walked over, and the beach area is just stunning. We couldn't swim there because they said there was like sharks and sea snakes and some other nasty things. So they did advise us to not go in the water too far and to keep our sea shoes on. But we did some fishing there. It was actually the first and probably one of the only times I've ever done any fishing. I didn't catch anything. But I was just blown away by how beautiful it was and how many people are staying there long term. I can absolutely get that. I could absolutely stay there for a long time too. It's just stunning. Adelaide. Now, Adelaide surprised me. I don't know why I thought Adelaide was going to be small. I knew it was going to be bigger than Darwin, but I don't know, I just didn't expect it to be so vast. I mean, it's absolutely huge, and I don't know why I had in my mind it wasn't like that. When we were driving in, it's oh gosh, it's so beautiful. You've got all these beautiful ornate houses, lots of park space, and we stayed in the city centre, and it's like surrounded by park space, and then the city centre's in the middle. It just was huge. I mean, it's not particularly a walkable city, and we got Ubers. They weren't very expensive, the Ubers. That's another thing actually that surprised me about Australia is it's always sort of been, you know, we're always told, oh, it's very expensive. Compared to the UK, Australia is not expensive. But I'll do a separate video on that because, I mean, that blew me away how cheap it was compared to the UK. Maybe that's just a sign of the times. Anyway, so Adelaide really, really did surprise me. I just was not expecting such a big city. It's very, parts of it remind me very much of London. Yeah, you need more time. We only really had one full day in Adelaide. You need a lot more time in Adelaide to really appreciate it. So I'm a bit disappointed we didn't spend longer there really to get to know it better. I'll have to go back. But yeah, I was not expecting it to be that big. And the final place that surprised me a lot was Kalgoorlie. We went there to see the gold mines and go venturing out and about to go and find ghost towns, which aren't ghost towns. I got shouted at by someone. But Kalgoorlie, oh my days. Of all the places I went, I'll have to say Kalgoorlie is the one I definitely want to go back to. The town itself is just beautiful. And you've got two parts of it. You've got Kalgoorlie and you've got Kalgoorlie Boulder. I'm probably getting that mixed up, but there's like two parts of the town, both absolutely beautiful. Sadly, a lot of the shops are sort of empty, and I think that's a sign of the times. They've got a lot of retail parks as well, and that's a bit like in the UK, and your high streets tend to sort of close down, which is very sad, but it's still very beautiful to go around. Lots to see there. lots of places you can drive to from there that I'd like to go back and see, like Lake Ballard. I'd love to do the proper Goldfield, like drive round, really get into the history. I don't know, there was just a vibe about Kalgoorlie that I just absolutely loved. I just fell in love with the place. Yeah, I could spend a lot of time there. It's a very sort of welcoming, cosy, I mean, it's a big town, you know, bigger than some of the others went to, but there's a cosy sort of vibe to it. You know when you just click with something? Kalgoorlie was it for me. Loved it there, really did. Wasn't expecting that at all. I was expecting a small sort of mining town. No, it was great, really great, loved it. So they were the 8 places that I went to on my Australia road trip that really surprised me and wasn't expecting to be as they were. But all of Australia was pretty awesome. But yeah, those places I'd definitely go back to, and they were great. Anyway, that's my things that surprised me most when I travelled around Australia. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon. Thanks, bye, ciao.